air conditioner. It's a little bit noisy. So having some audio problems off and on because of the noise in the background. So trying to fix that, and I have a new microphone on the way, not an expensive one, not a great one, but it's coming. And we'll see how much that can improve the audio, and then we're going to work on improving the video quality a little bit, make it a little bit nicer. And so working on that. And just today, it's 10 a.m. here in the Philippines, which is also China time, and it's 10 p.m. in New York. Here in the Philippines, it's the 4th of June. It's a Tuesday of 2019. And in New York, it's 10 p.m. the day before. It's June 3rd, Monday night, 10 p.m. in New York. And this is the Love Buddy. Love is a live video that we do this every day at the same time, and just want to share some ideas with you about love and get your feedback, get your ideas about love. We're working on having a discussion about love, and anyone and everyone is invited to share their opinion, their ideas, because that's all we've got. We've only got our opinions and ideas. When it comes to something especially as relevant as love, as important, as foundational as love, we really need to be open to other people's ideas. So we don't set down hard and fast rules. We don't have dogma. We don't have some special holy scripture or something from where we dictate our ideas. We just feel, we get in touch with our hearts, and we get in touch with each other. We get in touch with the oneness in the community, the love that we all share. And that's all the information we're ever going to need. No book is going to rival that. When you're dealing with someone that you care about and you're interacting with them, you don't need a book. You need the love in your heart. You need the communication. You need to listen. You need to understand. You need to be supportive. None of those things are in any books. They're in our heart. And once we understand how to find our heart, once we understand how to love each other, once we understand really what real love is, and we can feel it. We know that love isn't torture. We know that love isn't beating somebody up. We know that love isn't what they call tough love so much of the time, which is more like coldness, not listening, or abandoning someone. That's no kind of love, even though it's called tough love. That's more like abuse. So we know love when we feel it, and we know love when we don't feel it. And when it comes to dogma, when we use a framework that comes from a religion that says, here's how you're supposed to behave, here's how you're supposed to treat what we're called non-believers, unbelievers, people who aren't part of the tribe. What we call in Jehovah's Witnesses, we call them Christendom. These were the bad guys. These were the guys who didn't really understand, and we're not going to say because officially you can't say, but these are the ones that God's not going to save. These are the ones that are going to get murdered by God. They're going to get killed by God because they're not following the dogma that we follow. And that's a religious belief. Catholics, they have excommunication as a way to throw somebody out, as a way to exclude somebody, as a way to condemn somebody, as a way to punish them. My own brother hasn't spoken to me for 40 years because I used to be a Jehovah's Witness, but I quit. It didn't work for me. I found it to be a cult and hypocritical and insincere. That's how I experienced it. Although the people were wonderful people, I found that the framework that they worked in, the framework that they believed, what they lived in, the rules that they followed, they weren't really aware of how that was so destructive to what real love is. And that's what today is about. Religions, not beliefs, not ideas, but religions, frameworks, structures that are given you by a cult, by a tribe, by a group, by a religious group. So we're looking at that today. Love is alive. Does religion bring us together? Let's take a look at tribes. So tribes, a lot of times it can be a really good thing, but now usually when we use the word tribes, we're talking about tribal behavior. Tribal behavior is a special secret group, or not necessarily secret, but it's a special group. It's a privilege. It excludes others that aren't part of the tribe. Now, the Native Americans have what's called tribes. It's a little bit different, but they can act in a tribal way that's a destructive way to getting along. They can say, hey, because you're an Apache, I don't like you, and we've been at war for hundreds of years or whatever, or you're a Cherokee, and all the Cherokees are savages and things like that. Or as my Israeli friends have talked about the Palestinians, they call them savages. They said these people are savages. When you get in the military and you join the US military, you're taught that whoever you're sent to go kill, they're the bad guys. They have no belief in the Christian God, or they have no belief in the great superior beliefs that you have. These are all kinds of tribalism. And when it comes to religion, tribalism is alive and well, and it is designed to exclude others or make you and the people who join conform to a certain set of rules that are extremely, completely, always arbitrary, based upon dogma, based upon irrelevant rules that have nothing to do with love, nothing to do with acceptance, nothing to do with being open and accepting to others that are different in culture, as long as they're not hurting anybody. If people are hurting somebody, if they have some ritual in their group, their tribe, their neighborhood, whatever, where they're, doing child sacrifice, or they're stoning women to death for marrying someone or dating someone or having sex with someone who's of a different caste, like they do in India sometimes. Men kill their own sister. They call it an honor killing. This is tribal behavior, because what it does is it says, we're a group, we have a set of rules, and we follow those rules based upon either our culture, based upon our tribe, based upon our history, or based upon what our God tells us to do. Well, let me tell you, all of those, throw those away. They're all worthless, and love is number one. If you're not following love, in my opinion, you're on the wrong track, and you're listening to the wrong source. You're being controlled and manipulated, and you're being forced to do things that are really bad to other people, like stoning a person to death, like gang raping because the girl wore the wrong clothes, things that you didn't approve of. This isn't love, and this is no center for a society. This is no center for a culture. Compassion, respect, nurturing, kindness, empowerment. These are things that we need, and these are things that we don't have because we've had tribes, religions, cultures, ruling cultures, ruling countries, ruling the earth, ruling millions or even billions of people. And this alone is the reason why women get a bad shake. So many countries in the world, women, either they get paid less or they get paid very little, or they're treated very disrespectfully. I understand, I've never been to Bangladesh, but I understand there are certain places there where the men are just really lazy, they don't work hard, they don't provide for the family. The woman does all the work. And the men are demanding, the men are abusive, the men can be violent. I know for a fact when I lived in northeast China, that violence against the wife, totally accepted in most areas. So this is culture-based, this is unconscious. People are not aware of really what love is. They haven't been taught. We're not teaching love. Love is respect. Love is kindness. It's not hitting somebody. It's not beating someone. It's not dominating them. When you see the way people are treated in some of the garment factories, I was involved in a project for a while with garment factories in Bangladesh. You can find these videos on YouTube, and the people, the men in charge, the management, are hitting women and slapping them around and calling them very horrible names because they're not working fast enough, because they're not reaching some quota for the day. So this is all a kind of a tribalism because it's based upon a superiority. It's based upon an idea that I have the right to do that, and in this culture, I can get away with that. Going back to my days as a Jehovah's Witness, we were superior, but we didn't use that word because that's a little bit too honest, isn't it? We knew better. We had what we called, the way they worded it was we had the truth. We were living in the truth, and what that truth did was it excluded others. And what it's done is it's prevented me from being able to speak with my own brother and have a relationship who I loved dearly. He and I were so close. He was the most nurturing member of my family, a wonderful man. Now he's moved up from LA. I think he's up in Oregon or Washington State now. I don't know, because I hear through other family members. But what a heartbreak. And I didn't realize at the time, because I was a kid when I quit the religion and then when he disowned me. We had dinner at a restaurant, and he asked me about what I was into. I think I was into Scientology at the time. I think I had, he was asking me what I was doing. I thought it was a casual conversation, and I didn't realize that this was actually the committee that was deciding to fellowship me. This was my own brother. I think we went to a Chinese restaurant. And when I found out later, he said, "Hey, you're disfellowship." I said, "How did that happen?" I don't remember being part of that. He said, "That was our dinner in the restaurant." Wow, blew my mind. And as a kid, I was 18 at the time, or 19, maybe 20, 19 or 20. Anyway, at the time, I didn't really realize what that was all about. You know, it's taken me, I'm 58 now, and it's taken me experience in so many different religions and in so many different cultures, living in so many different countries, and observing and experiencing firsthand the way people get together, the way they are tribal, the way they use nomenclature, the way they make up words for people that are not part of their exclusive group. There were dirty names that I was called when I was in Malaysia because I wasn't a Muslim, you know. They actually considered it an insult to be a free thinker, to be able to think for yourself, not to be able to think within the confines of what they are taught. That's tribalism. And that separates us, that divides us, that tears us away. Does your religion teach you to be kind? Great. Be kind. That's a wonderful part. That's a wonderful thing. Of course, there's not going to be anything wrong with that. Being kind to others, respecting others, including others. If your religion is teaching you to help people that are poor, great. But my sister went only to the Muslim part of the Philippines to preach Jesus to them, to make that tribe stronger. If someone was there and they said, "Look, I'm Muslim, I love being Muslim, I want to stay Muslim, that's what I believe." Well, we hope one day you're going to learn. We hope one day you're going to accept Jesus as your personal Savior. Never mind if you need a job. Never mind if you need food. Never mind if you need to be empowered. You've got to follow our dogma. You've got to be part of what we believe. And we're giving gifts. We're giving food. We're giving money. We're building houses. We're building schools, all based upon the idea that we want to indoctrinate you to become our part of our cult, part of our religion, part of our belief system, and that's not love. Love is accepting somebody for who they are, empowering them for who they are, and helping them however they need help in life. So we want to empower other people. We want to love other people, and love is empowering, love is accepting. But if you use your religion as a cult and as a way to divide, if you say, "We have dogma, we have a relationship with God, you don't have a relationship with God. I've heard it a million times, there's only one God." Well, I believe there's only one love. And that love lets you do anything you want as long as you're not hurting somebody else. You don't have to believe that somebody died for your sins, or somebody up there is watching like Santa Claus who knows who's naughty and who's nice. But these kind of legends, these kind of ideas have been used for thousands of years to manipulate people, to control them. They've even had people that are in charge of government that are accepted as having a relationship with God. Jehovah's Witnesses, they believe what the group in New York of their elders that are the most sacred, the most holy, that they are part of what's called in the scriptures the faithful and discreet slave class. In other words, these guys have a specific relationship with God. The Pope is the vicar of Christ, right? The Pope, what he says is law. It's directly from God. I don't really subscribe to that. I don't really believe that. I believe that God is inside of us because I believe that God is love. And if you know compassion, you can find this inside your heart. What's a loving thing to do? What's a loving way to be? None of the religions that I've been involved in, none of the religions that I've seen put love first. They talk about it. man, they talk a beautiful, beautiful, nonsensical, hypocritical line about how it's all about love and our God is love. But when it comes down to eating pork, when it comes down to what are you going to eat on Friday as a Catholic, when it comes down to using the Lord's name in vain, when it comes down to not accepting Jesus as your personal Savior, when it comes down to not following the rituals, following their dogma that has nothing to do with love. Okay, you want to eliminate pork from your diet? Great. You feel it's going to be healthy? Great. That may not necessarily be from God, according to what an old book says. That might just be a healthy food choice. Another healthy food choice might be not eating chocolate because maybe you have an allergy, which I have an allergy right now to the flowers in the area. So I've been sneezing a little bit lately, kind of like a cold. So I don't think, excuse me, I don't think that's necessarily a mandate from God. It's just about being healthy, loving ourselves, loving our body, paying attention to what we eat so we're eating healthy. I don't know if I can get away from the flowers. I don't know what I can do about that. Okay, so groups and dogma, open or closed. You know, a lot of the fraternities or sororities have a very strict kind of a cliquishness about them, and they feel that they're kind of better than others. This is also kind of a religion thing because they're being cliquish. They're saying we're better because we have more money or because we're more beautiful, more handsome. We're the top students of the class. Now, it's one thing if you want to interact with people that are also good at math, or you're looking for a mate that has a certain look that you find very attractive. There's nothing wrong with that, but are you excluding other people from your life? Are you feeling superior? Are you neglecting, or are you looking down upon others as inferior because they're not part of some exclusive group that you're part of? This is how religion has to work. If you're in a religion, it has to divide us by its very nature. Even though you're throwing scraps, like throwing scraps to the dogs, even though you're saying, oh, love your enemy, that's not love. When you are calling somebody an enemy, you threw out love out the window immediately when you called somebody your enemy and you brought the dogma in. You brought in the superiority because they're your enemy. Now, there might be people that are confused. There might be people that we need to protect ourselves from. There might be people that have some problems where they want to hurt others, and I'm not endorsing that. I'm not saying open yourself to getting killed or getting beat up or raped or hurt or whatever. Even mental abuse. No, I'm not saying be open to that. But I am saying this: you're not a superior person. They just have their behavior that you want to protect yourself or protect others from. But it's not about superiority, because we're all learning, and love is the great equalizer. Do you get special privileges from your God? Is your God going to give you the gift of eternal life, or is he going to give you the gift of perfect life on earth? Is your God going to give you the gift of heaven? I think the Mormons have 7 levels of heaven because you did certain things. If there's some God that wants me to jump through hoops, I'm not going to do that. Go ahead, do whatever you're going to do. And when I was 25 years old on my birthday, I had this realization, and I stood up to these false gods that I was taught about, that are going to judge me, that are going to control me, that know the way I'm supposed to be. Because I realized this is hypocritical. This isn't about love. This isn't about acceptance. This isn't about bringing people together and realizing that we're all one, that we're all equal. We all have a right to be happy. We all have the right to have what we want in life. Happiness and joy and self-actualization and pursuing our hobbies and pursuing the things that give us meaning, pursuing the things that give us a sense of accomplishment. This is what life is about. And this is how life can be. And this is how life is for me. And this is how life is for a lot of us. But by far, most of us are not. And I haven't seen a single religion yet that does that empowers people, that is really love-centered. Because if you're love-centered, you don't have any dogma. You can't have a religion. Because religion, by its very definition, separates based upon a set of rules that are not about love. They're about dogma. They're about certain arbitrary structure framework. They have superior teachings, superior beliefs. They know secrets. Now, I believe in love, and I believe love is a great thing, but it doesn't make me superior. It's just something that I think is pretty cool. But if you've got something better than love, let's hear it. I'm not dogmatic about it. It doesn't have to be true. It's just the best thing that I found, and it's so much more effective in giving me a joyful life, a happy life, helping me to have happy relationships, helping me to earn a living, helping me to get along with others, helping me to be a good person in the world. That's what love has done for me, so I like that. If there's something else that does that even better, fantastic. I've got an open mind, because love is open. Love doesn't put up walls. Love listens, and love is open to other ideas. And I'd be happy to learn a better way. But I haven't found anything anywhere near love. Not anything anywhere near. The religions I was in are all kind of down here. Love is like way up here. It's not even on the same scale practically. So when they talk about, oh, your religion, I've had this happen when I've spoke with people online, and I've said on Facebook, look, religions divide, and I said exactly what I'm saying right now, although I didn't get a chance to be as wordy about it. I didn't get a chance to elaborate on the details about it like I just have. But I just said religion divides because your focus, your center, is your religion and the dogma, and you're centered around that. And not a single church that I've been to has spent much time at all helping others that are of a different faith or others that are not of their own faith. As a Catholic, we used to do canned food drives, and my mom would grab some old cans out of the cupboard and we'd bring them to church, and we would help needy people with that. Wonderful activity. Was that the center of Catholicism? Catholicism is the largest landowner on the planet. They're the richest company in the world, Catholicism, when it comes to real estate. Who's number two? Mormons. That sounds more like being real estate centered to me. Even though you do good things, Mormons, they take care of their widows. That's in the Bible, so they follow that. They take care of their orphans. Wonderful. Wonderful to be a widow or an orphan. But you've got to be a Mormon. If you're not a Mormon, it doesn't matter if you're a widow or an orphan or not. That's not the focus anyway. Maybe they're going to do some good things. They're going to work to benefit some people that they don't care what the religion is. But in general, what are they doing? The military is not there to build roads, although the U.S. military, the military-industrial complex, does build roads sometimes, and they do help with infrastructure sometimes. They're there to go in and kill and dominate. They're there to go and take a country and bring it to its knees through firepower by blowing up people and blowing up stuff. So even though you might want to say, hey, the military, our tribe is a good thing because we build roads. I don't buy it. I don't buy it because that's not the central focus of what you're doing. If you were love-centered, you wouldn't be training to use a gun and how to kill others. That wouldn't be the center of what you're doing. That wouldn't be the focus of what you're doing. And you wouldn't be told to go to another country and kill those guys. So people can become very hypocritical because why? They want to join a tribe, they want to join a religion, so they have a sense of belonging. One of the happiest days of my life, I went out to visit my brother in California. I was living in Chicago, and he had turned me on to the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I went out and visited, and I just got all this affection. I got all this attention. I was just a star. And when I told them about how I was lying to my parents when I was going to meetings, they just giggled and laughed and encouraged me. Go ahead, lie to your folks because it's right, because you're going to become a Jehovah's Witness, and that makes lying okay. And 1,000 other, deceptive, manipulative, hypocritical behaviors, all in honor of that tribe. And how old was I? I think I was 14 at the time. And that was just a wonderful, beautiful memory. I went there for 2 weeks. And I just loved all that attention. I loved all that love. I loved all that affection. But I found out later that it was just really, really superficial. Sometimes we don't know right away. Sometimes we can't tell right away. We think somebody likes us. We think somebody really, truly loves us. And then we find out later by their actions. It fits within the framework of their beliefs, of their tribe, of their dogma. It doesn't fit within love. Love itself is unconditional. Love itself is infinite. We are not. We are limited. Whether we're in a religion or whether it's a guy like me who claims to be love-centered, well, I'm not claiming that. What I'm claiming is I want to be love-centered. That love is my center of focus, but I do things all the time that are not loving, and I catch myself and I realize, wow, how could I be more loving? How could I have been kinder? How could I have been more compassionate? How could I have been more respectful to that person? I've got forever to go. I've got a long way to go. So all of us, we have our own ideas. All of us, we're trying to be good people, and that's what I meant as Jehovah's Witnesses. You were really trying to be good people, and they believe that their dogma-centered life, their Jehovah-centered life, was the right life. And most of them, a lot of them born, they didn't know any better. They had no exposure to anything else. And this is a real problem if people are not open-minded, because the part of the cult, if you want to make a cult, part of it is you have to prevent people from getting exposure to other groups. Every cult has this in common. If you want to study about that, okay, we'll study together within the walls of our dogma, within the walls of our religion. But you can't go out and join them. You can't go out and practice with them. Scientology, big hypocritical. You know, they say, oh, any religion is no, you're not allowed to practice any religion. I remember when I was studying as a Scientologist, and one of the guys in my study group, he would go out to his car at lunchtime or during break time and meditate. And that is taboo. Why? Because it's not part of the Scientology dogma, part of the mind control thing that they do. You're not allowed to have the freedom to look into other things. Well, I did that. Whether I got disfellowshipped or I got excommunicated or I got kicked out or I got disowned or I got abandoned, I didn't care, because I knew that's superficial love. That's not real love. I had a sense of that from when I was a kid. There's something wrong here. It's not the real thing. So that was what I experienced when I visited LA when I was 14. And then I went back. My mom, dad, they didn't want me to be a Jehovah's Witness because my dad is a Catholic. Finally, after bickering for about a year, having some head-to-head quarrels, I finally just told my father, I said, look, I'm going to LA. I'm going to California to live with Dave, and I'm going to be a Jehovah's Witness. And he didn't even look up from his newspaper. And he said, I can't stop you. He was right, he couldn't stop me, but I had wished that he loved me enough to at least look at me, communicate with me about it. When I did leave, my parents shook hands goodbye. They didn't hug me. There were no tears. There was no sadness. They just shook hands and said goodbye, because I was not part of their belief system. I refused to be a Catholic. I was going to be a Jehovah's Witness. And I guess I was pretty adamant about it. Hopped on the plane, landing in LA. I took some pictures at the time of the palm trees. You could almost see the ocean. Beautiful sunshine, mountains, everything that Chicago was not, including open-mindedness. Although Jehovah's Witnesses are considered very close-minded, very restrictive, a lot of walls built, a lot of walls you have to build and keep up, even from your own family as Jehovah's Witness. But when that plane landed, I knew I was going to a group of people that I thought loved me, and it was just such a wonderful feeling. I was just so happy. I got so much attention, and that really felt great until I quit. It turned off like a faucet. I lost my brother, who I loved so much. Wouldn't talk to me anymore. I lost all my good friends. I lost my living because I was working in partnership as in a janitorial service with people that were Jehovah's Witnesses. They couldn't work with me anymore, not when I was disfellowshipped. They can work with people who were never Jehovah's Witnesses and never quit. But if you did know and you did quit because you said that's not right for me, that's not allowed. So this is one of the experiences of being in a religion as opposed to being in love. Being religious-centered as opposed to being love-centered. Now, I'm not saying, I want to be clear about this. I've had a lot of people disown me on Facebook, block me, maybe even report me, when I said, look, religion divides. Religion by definition divides. It doesn't have love as its center. And people have been so angry about me saying that their religion is dividing us that they have blocked me. They proved my point. I didn't block them. I'll never block anybody because of any religion. I block people that are abusive to me, but not people that would say, hey, you're dividing. What? What do you mean? So that's where the hate comes from. That's where the dogma comes from. That's where the hypocrisy comes from, is saying, I'm so open, you're wrong. You're wrong about saying I'm not open, so I'm going to block you. I'm never going to talk to you again because you're wrong and I'm right. Well, I can't say that I'm right. I don't say that. I just say this is what I believe. What do you believe? What do you think? How do you feel? What, am I wrong about something? I want to hear it. I'm open completely. I'm ready to have a discussion. I'm ready to answer questions, personal questions, difficult questions about why I believe what I believe and why I believe in love and why my life is a love-centered life. That's what I strive for. And I've got a long way to go. Like I say, I've got a lot of learning. I've got a lot of improving. I'm sure you can tell I don't come across as somebody who's heightened or somebody who's reached nirvana or somebody who's superior. And hopefully I'll never come across that way. I just want to come across as me, who I really am, and what I believe in, and what I'm trying to do, what I'm striving to do. I'm not here to talk to myself, and I'm not here to preach to anybody. I'm here to share. The only reason that I'm here, that I'm doing this live video every day, is to connect with other people and hear what they have to say and share with them so that we can have some connection, so that we can have some oneness. Because I love that. That feels good to me, and that gives my life meaning. I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to teach anybody what's right and wrong. I'm here to share together as equals, 100% as equals. And if there's a way that we can do some video where there's an interview, or we can both be on the video at the same time, but we're in different places, and we can share that on Facebook, please let me know. I want to do that. I want to start interviewing people. I know people, I have almost 5,000 friends on Facebook, and so many of them, and practically any one of them, I would love to say, hey, what do you believe about love? Or what do you believe is your life center? What should be your life center? I want to learn. I want to hear. I want to share that with other people. So if you know how to do that, I'm looking into that now. How can we have a live interview, video on Facebook like I'm doing every day at 10? But not only me, but talking with other people at the same time. And right now, all we're getting is comments. Okay, I'm looking right here. Laurencio, okay, I'm seeing your comments. Wow, I didn't know you had been through that. I could relate because I'm a closet atheist too. Yeah, this is a guy who lives in, maybe it's Laurencio, lives in Philippines like I do, and he's a little bit north. We're going to meet in person. We're going to have a beer together. We're going to have some nice chats. I'm really looking forward to that. Well, I believe in a lot of things, just not religion anymore. Well, if you have a religion-centered life, I think that that's not going to be love, and I think it's going to be in conflict with what love is. Well, that sounds fun. Got to try it out soon. Not sure what you're referring to there, but yeah, we got to get together. So we're going to do that when we have a chance. I'll go up there, he'll come down here, or we'll meet halfway, something like that. But anyway, I got to wrap this up. It's supposed to try to only be 30 minutes, and we're at 34 right now. So, okay, so does religion bring us together? My opinion, happy to be wrong, let me know. Definitely want to hear your side. My humble opinion is no. Not from my personal experience with all the religions I was part of. I was part of about half a dozen, intimately committed, dedicated for an extended period of time with about a half a dozen different religions. And it's never been my experience with anybody who's very religious, very dogmatic, who's very religion-centered. Now, there are people that have religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs, fine. We don't seem to have a conflict there, and they're open to nurturing and love with other people. But I'm talking about religion in its most dogmatic form, in its religion-centered form. It is in direct opposition to oneness. because it's all about the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, this polarity. Love brings us together. Love erases that polarity. It breaks down walls. That's why I believe in love. That's why I believe in being love-centered. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks so much for being here. My name is Matthew. This is Love Buddy. Look at the comments. There's more links there. There's something coming up. On the 15th of this month, I'm going to release a course called Love 101, where I share more details about what love could be or what I believe love is. And there's 68 qualities to love, and you get a chance to really get to know love from a whole other standpoint. 7 different lessons. Take about a month to study that. And there's some special promotions, some special offers, some special bonuses, all that marketing stuff. Bottom line is, I believe in love. I want to share love with you. I want to share my ideas. I want to hear your ideas. That's what this is all about. Thank you so much again. This is Matthew. I love you. Have a wonderful day. Take care. See you tomorrow, 10 p.m. New York time, 10 a.m. Philippines, China time. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.